Perfect. Anyways, hello everyone. Welcome to Sunday Morning Super Show. My name is Locke Vincent. And yeah, I've been busy. Sorry we haven't done this, made this a weekly thing. It's supposed to be a weekly thing, but I really haven't done that. Which is okay, because that means other stuff is happening. It's been great. Halloween horror was awesome. We'll talk about that a bit later in the show. As well as tons of work, which is nice because now I can take a little bit of a break, catch up on some games, which I'm excited for because there's a lot of stuff that happened sort of in the fall that I've missed, and I want to hit that stuff before I get into the sort of just the Black Friday onwards stuff. I'm flying solo today because... yeah, I said, let's do a show. I'm sick of not doing shows. Sunny, Jam, not sure where those guys are. I think Jam's doing stuff. Sunny is sleeping. But that being said, I still have a lot of stuff to talk about. So you just have to bear with my voice. That's okay, though. Really, oh, hello. Look at that. HP tweeting our stuff out. If there is, I'm looking at a couple people in the chat there, but if there is someone, namely Veritas, who wants to talk about Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, I would like you on this call. Yeah, let's get right into it. First off, always the tea emergency happened, but we're drinking some nice jasmine pearls in the morning, as always. I think that's an important thing. Hit your tea. I don't drink a ton of coffee because I never grew up drinking coffee. I didn't really like the bitterness of the taste. I've grown to like coffee, but that being said, tea is just, there's so much variation in tea. And I know there's a lot of variation in coffee too, but man, I'm loving me some tea. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, any time of day. It's great. Yeah, new keyboard. I was talking about that just before the show started, but I'm looking at investing in a new keyboard. I've had the Logitech G15 for about close to 10 years at least, and I love this keyboard, but technology advances quite a bit, and hardware has moved on from that. So I'm looking at a DOS keyboard, which is quite expensive. It's almost $200, but it's got the cherry browns on there. It's a really slick look. Form factor's awesome. Yeah, I would like to check that out. We'll see that. And someone else, one of my friends recommended a Ducky keyboard, which Ducky looks a little bit too much like Razer for me. Lots of shiny lights and chrome and stuff like that. So I like a little more minimalistic approach with my hardware, especially with my current layout as I got going on here with my music stuff and my recording things and whatever. Anyways, games. I have been playing almost nothing but Binding of Isaac Rebirth, which came out on everything, I guess. Vita. I've been playing on the Vita, PS4, as well as PC. And then I was looking, and Edward McMullen, the designer, wanted to put it on the 3DS, but they can't put it on the 3DS, which is unfortunate. I forget the reasons behind that, but yeah. So yeah, we got here. My wife is texting me. There we go. Yeah, Rebirth is cool. Let's look at this. It is if you don't know what Binding of Isaac is a bunch of stuff combined. I haven't done an alchemy on it. I might. We'll see, because it's a roguelike for one, which means when you die, I really want to come up with a better name for that genre, but when you die, it's dead, you're over. Stuff doesn't carry over other than a couple things that you've collected, which is kind of like the modern spin on the roguelike. It plays like a dungeon crawler with Zelda 1 dungeons, where you're moving from room to room, going north, south, east, or west. Lots of secrets, lots of collectibles, lots of unlockables, different play styles with different characters as you progress, which is really interesting. Your item progression is different every game, so you basically end up with a different loadout, akin to maybe Risk of Rain did this as well, which was really cool. But yeah, it is just an addicting game, and once you kind of get addicting game. But once you get through sort of a couple sessions and get your grips with it, learn boss patterns, that sort of thing, it's awesome. Like, you're doing different types of runs, different types of builds, and because it's randomly generated, you sort of kind of work with what you're given, which I enjoy quite a bit. Unlike if you look at a game like Spelunky, where you don't carry anything over, that's a little bit... Like, I understand the appeal of Spelunky. I like Spelunky and getting better at it, but that is just purely skill and pure sort of, your hand-eye coordination, but just your agility and your ability to control your character. Whereas Binding of Isaac has that. It's more of a bullet hell sort of move around, avoid enemies than, say, a platformer, but the interesting thing about Binding of Isaac is that your randomly generated items could determine how you play, which I prefer. I prefer that in my roguelikes. The pure skill-based ones are just a little tough, and I don't have quite the amount of time to master them. So, Binding of Isaac Rebirth, though, wraps in everything from Binding of Isaac, the first one, which is like the Wrath of the Lamb DLC that they had, the Halloween DLC, and it adds a ton of, like, it's its own game for sure. Like, it's funny. I kind of relate it to, like, going from the Wii to the Wii U. Binding of Isaac was a great game, but Binding of Isaac Rebirth is just so much tighter, so much more content. And I know that a lot of people have put a ton of time into the original one. They're going to be right at home here. If you haven't played it, it's a perfect time to get into Binding of Isaac because you get all that previous content, and if you own a PS4 or Vita, it's free. It's amazing. Then I've been doing strictly Vita. I want to try doing it on the PS4, hop back and forth, because I know that your saves go to the cloud. What is the cloud? Your saves go to the cloud, and you basically can just play it on the go or sit on the couch, still playing on the same game file. Speaking of game files, they did add a bunch of save slots to it. I think you get 3 save slots, so you can play on different files there if you're sharing your systems or anything like that, or if you want to try something different. I don't know why you would, if you're playing just on your own, or if you're not sharing, why you would do separate save files, to be honest with you, because you want to, when you collect an item, you want it to go into your collection, because it's got like almost 100 collectibles that you can get and unlock. And I think there's like a ton, like maybe just as many challenges, which is like trying to do certain things in the game. Anyways, Binding of Isaac Rebirth is tight. Play it. It's like $15 on PC, free on the Sony platforms. So good. So good. So good. Halo Master Chief Collection came out. I don't know if I'm going to grab that because, well, actually, one, I don't own an Xbox One yet, but I'm going to grab the holiday / Black Friday / Sunset Overdrive bundle, because Sunset Overdrive, I did a video review for that over at Co-Optimus. It is tight. It's good. It's a very fun game, and really, they've done they did what they set out to do. Make just a really fun sort of action platformer sort of open world game. It's really cool. I think the guy, coming from Fuse, Insomniac Games, they did Fuse, and that wasn't great. Kind of like changed halfway through development. Anyways, I'm going to get an Xbox One. That being said, I want to hop on this Master Chief Collection because I enjoy Halo. I think I also like the fact that I can have all of the multiplayer maps in one place, which I enjoy. I think that's a big draw to it. And really, like, every Halo game has been good. Fact of the matter is, like, obviously some are better than others, but really every single Halo game I think has been fairly decent. And so yeah, once I get my Xbox One, gonna hop on that. The other thing was I just wanted to touch upon Sunset Overdrive a bit because that is another Xbox One exclusive, which I'm missing out on right now. I mean, I kind of fell off Destiny because of the lack of content there, but I don't know. Destiny was my go-to game for PS4, and I haven't been doing much else. Everything else I've been playing on PC, but now there's kind of a couple of reasons to check out the Xbox One for me. Most of my friends play multiplayer on Xbox One, so that's another interesting reason to get it. But Call of Duty Advanced Warfare sounds dope. I mean, a couple years back, I think before Ghosts, after I played Black Ops 2 and I didn't get as much out of it as I wanted to, I was just like, yeah, I'm going to take a break from Call of Duty, and didn't play Battlefield 4. I was kind of sick of shooting stuff. And then, I mean, this looks tight. They are doing some things different with the jetpacks and double jumps and that sort of thing. I think adding that element, oops, that's not what I wanted. Adding that element to it is cool. So, really? Not going to give me my full screen, please? But yeah, Call of Duty, if I haven't played it yet, but I'm looking forward to trying that out over the next couple months here, because I always have fun shooting people with friends, and because this has done something different, I'm willing to check it out. So yeah, if you're out there and you have played this new Call of Duty game, let me know what you think, because I'd be curious. I get most of my sort of games and play most of my games based on, obviously, first the appeal that I would want to do, like something like Binding of Isaac I want to get into. But yeah, word of mouth is my biggest seller on games. So if you played it and you dig it, let me know. I'm curious to see what the masses and what people are thinking about for a new Call of Duty game. Developed by Sledgehammer, which is the sort of third team to make a Call of Duty. There's Infinity Ward and Treyarch, and now Sledgehammer. And Sledgehammer sort of doing something different, which is great. A lot of people from the Sledgehammer team were the original Dead Space guys, which is super interesting to me, because Dead Space 1, fantastic game. Moving on. Got a little bit of a space boner for Elite Dangerous, which is not on Steam. Elite Dangerous is a friggin' space sim. Like, it's the reality of Star Citizen. Like, Elite Dangerous is actually happening, whereas Star Citizen, I have no idea what's going to happen with that. But this piqued my interest because my friend Decker, who loves these games, obviously, he's like, yeah, did you play Freelancer? Did you play Privateer? This is that, but just in a modernized version. And you're doing things like landing on docks, and you actually have to land your thing, which is a bit too much sim for me. I like it one notch behind that, but I didn't play the original Elite Danger, or no, sorry, I think it was just called Elite, but Elite 1984, which came out on my birth year, which is interesting. But yeah, I do want to check this out. I got hyped up for this because I don't think Star Citizen is going to come out anytime soon. I know there's playable things for Star Citizen, but like, just look at that space station. I do like the idea of grabbing a bounty, going out, fighting some space pirates, come back, cash it in, get a new gun. I like that grind, especially when it's randomly generated missions. Whereas, look at Destiny, where it's just like same 6 missions over and over, same 10 missions even. They're just like patrol missions, and the story missions, don't get me started. Anyways, Elite Dangerous, you can grab that, elitedangerous.com. I don't even know how much it is. Let's check out. I can buy new paint jobs, which I'm not in. You can spend a lot of money on this game. Let me just tell you that. Beta access, $75. We get asteroid mining, multiple ship ownerships, player indication. Ooh, 2,400 systems to explore, and mercenary edition. I don't know what mercenary edition is. Anyways, $75 for a big space sim. I'm tempted. I do need to catch up on games, but I mean, that's in the bucket list there for sure. Other than that, I've been playing a little, not a little game, but called Door Kickers. Game called Door Kickers, which came out a couple weeks ago, and that is a awesome blend. It's a top-down strategy game where you're playing as a SWAT team, and the SWAT team. Oops. Here. Yeah, you're doing. You're going through different areas, and you can pause it, and you can relay orders, and like this turn-based tactics game, but it can also be played in real time. And what's cool about it is you have progression on your characters, so if the SWAT guys last a long time and they level up and get different skills, there's different classes that you unlock as you progress, which is really interesting. I told this stupid music to turn down. Yeah, see different classes here, which is super interesting, and then yeah, you have these sort of mini skill trees, which I enjoy. But yeah, it is great because it's got over 100 missions, and really, you're doing different things like rescuing hostages, defusing bombs, just taking out guys. You got loads of equipment and things like flash grenades, different types of weapons, shotguns, pistols. You can go silent, which is awesome. You get snipers. It's just a tight little package, and I know I've said that before, but like it's cool. You're getting a ton of value in this game. $20 gets you a campaign editor, 3 campaigns. You can upload them and share them. It's got tons of Steam Workshop support, but in terms of just a general feeling, Door Kickers does some really cool stuff with blending the perfect amount of tactics with not simmy really, but tactics and just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna play this and not worry about tactics, just play it in real time. But I think, I've played probably 2 dozen missions, and each mission you want to like perfect and get better at, because it's so easy it's so easy to play. Like if you die, you just restart right away, and it has like that Super Meat Boy effect of, if you die, just do it right away. You change it up, and and you can plan out. The challenge thing, the challenge missions are interesting because there's a challenge on every single mission to do it in one turn, which is basically planning it all out and hitting the button and letting the machine roll. And then the other thing, because the layouts are exactly the same every time you restart, the enemies will be in different locations each time, which is pretty interesting. So the challenge mission of doing it all in one turn is super fascinating to me, because you can complete these missions in a variety of ways, but you want to do it perfectly to get that challenge done. The other one is to do it without pausing, so playing it in full real time. So they've put in these challenges, these achievements to play this game on both ends of the spectrum. And I think that's awesome, because they're not forcing you to play they're forcing you to play a certain way, but they want you to play their game differently, which I think is just cool. So tons of replay value. It's a super tight game, and I think it is reminiscent of those old Rainbow Six days where you would plan it all out, and then you could play it sort of in first person or third person. But they've done a really good job here. I highly recommend Door Kickers. It's going to be one of those games where I go to, every, maybe once a week and just play through, a dozen or so missions. So I I would check that out. It's on Steam. They're also selling it on the Humble Store. So yeah, awesome game. It's really fun, really good little indie game, and yeah, you're getting a ton of content in there for your $20. Door kickers. We talked about Binding of Isaac, Call of Duty, Halo, Elite Dangerous. Let's move on to BlizzCon, which is kind of like the biggest news-ish thing. BlizzCon happening. StarCraft 2 new campaign. Well, the third campaign, sort of wrapping things up. And yeah, I haven't gone to BlizzCon before. I've always opted to go to the more general things like PAX or E3 and stuff locally, but I mean in like Comic-Con here. But I like all of the Blizzard games, and I've played every single Blizzard game, so I'm not a diehard Blizzard fan, but Blizzard is such a solid developer that they put on a good show. So I would be really interested to go to a BlizzCon. But yeah, I think it's interesting. They've announced a couple things with the StarCraft 2, Hearthstone expansion, and Overwatch, which is their new game. I haven't paid attention to WoW, so I'm not too sure what's going on in WoW, but we'll skip StarCraft 2. I mean, if you're playing StarCraft, you're going to grab that. Obviously, I was personally surprised by the StarCraft 2 campaign. It is so good for a real-time strategy game campaign that is, everybody plays StarCraft 2 for the multiplayer, as is most real-time strategy games. But yeah, let's dip into the Hearthstone expansion, which is I've played a ton of Hearthstone since putting it on my iPad. I honestly don't play a ton on the desktop, even though it's a great game to have sort of at the side. And this one is labeled Goblins versus Gnomes, and I didn't purchase the Curse of Naxxramas, which was the single player-esque sort of an adventure expansion, which I think I'd like to get once this one goes on sale. But yeah, the 120 new cards for this Goblins versus Gnomes expansion, and yeah, I think I'm looking forward to that. There aren't any details on, as far as I know, on how you are going to pay for that expansion. Curse of Naxxramas was not free. I think it was like $20 to get, I think 5 or 6 different sort of sets of levels, which was interesting. But again, I'm not a dedicated Hearthstone player. I'm not very good at it. I think it's a good game. I like playing it. It's one of my go-to games on the iPad. But I think the expansion is going to throw the cards in there and shuffle them into the deck. But like in terms of the card pool. But I'd be interested to know if they are going to like make you purchase specific boosters for the expansion, so you don't get original boosters, because a lot of hardcore players or like dedicated Hearthstone players will have all of the cards they need from the original, so they'll only need card packs from the expansion, which is how Magic works. A new expansion comes out, you're going to purchase the new expansion. So I'd be interested to just see the new cards, earn them as I go. I haven't put any money into Hearthstone, which is the thing, which I feel kind of bad about. But again, it's kind of like my free-to-play, kind of just play on the iPad game. I'm not like looking up strategies for Hearthstone. I just kind of play around with it because it is a free-to-play game, which has insane value. But the other thing, I'm more excited about, is this Overwatch game, reminiscent of Team Fortress 2. It's an online multiplayer shooter, class-based, and they have the first 12 classes here, which is really cool. Tracer, which is cool. Looks like the Scout. Symmetra, playing, going through the race, the races here. We've got more of an Indian looking lady here. Energy weapons, wall mounted turrets, cool. Has a portal gun apparently. Farah looks like a Gundam hover jet shooter, which is cool. And to sort of as a precedent here, very sci-fi looking Overwatch, which is I'm down with the sci-fi. Team Fortress is an amazing game, but kind of lost of its appeal with its just generic sort of weapons. So a little bit of sci-fi flair. Count me in. That being said, Hanzo, Ranger with a bow. Looks like he came straight out of Soul Calibur, kind of a Mitsurugi samurai looking dude, which would be kind of cool. But he can cling to surfaces, which would be neat. Obviously, MLG 360 no scope Reaper here, but akimbo pistols with, this is kind of like the stealth class character, which is kind of neat. He's got Hellfire shotguns. A gorilla with spectacles, heavy white armor. Now we're talking. Space gorillas. I'm in. I am in. He's got a Tesla cannon. I just want to give me some of this space gorilla action here. No, I don't want to watch this ad. Come on, guys. Here we go. Space Gorillas. Great band, by the way. Gorillas. Here we go. Winston. Give me some of that. Come on, Winston. Buffering. Wonderful. Anyways, Space Gorilla is in there. I'm jacked for the Space Gorilla. Torbjorn, which it looks like a mechanical dwarf flamethrower engineer guy. Defensive turrets and shield generators. Great. We always need a sort of engineer class. Very powerful. Rivet gun. Beautiful and awesome name. Torbjorn. Bjorn with a torque on it. Torque him up. Bastion. A robot. Not a turret, but a robot. He has a gun emplacement. Looks, robot characters are pretty cool. Assault kind of guy. A wizard, space wizard, of course. Mercy, an angelic medic with feathery wings. Cool. So we got a medic, looks like an angel. Uses a staff, which is interesting. I like wizards. Widowmaker, sniper class. So different from the archer class, but yeah, she looks like an evil space lady, but that's cool. Cool character. Very neat. Very interesting. Why does that scroll down? Very interesting character design here. Reinhardt. Oh, I missed a couple. Zenyatta. Yoga-like character. We got a Dalsum-esque character here. Energy balls. Phantom limbs. Another sort of more of the Eastern-ish player or character. And, of course, the big bruiser. And he has a hammer. So, coming from Warhammer. Perfect. Awesome. I don't know if he's human or not, but you always need those tank types. But, so, a balance of melee and some things coming from Team Fortress 2 with things like turrets. But, holy crap. That's gonna do some things here. And this is funny because I don't play Heroes of the Storm. I play Dota, but now instead of playing Team Fortress, I want to play Blizzard's multiplayer online shooter. So, color me excited and interested for Overwatch. Space Gorilla, man. That's what I'm talking about. Anyways, this is dates. Sorry, I didn't do my research on it, but obviously this is an opening trailer. Still going to be long in development, but they've got gameplay videos of each class, which is super interesting. Coming sooner than you think. So maybe I'm gonna next year if he's saying sooner than you think. So Blizzard really doing it right with some awesome stuff coming out of BlizzCon. Lots of content from Blizzard. I mean, Diablo. Is there any Diablo news? That's what I want to check. Nope. Because the thing, the one thing about Diablo is that they changed they did a seasons thing where you start a character, it is playable in that season, and then it moves to it can't be played next season, but it moves to your sort of generic character pool, which is awesome. And I got really deep into this Demon Hunter, which I hadn't played before. Played a bunch of it, but no Diablo 3 updates, so they're just kind of leaving Diablo. Expansion was awesome, and but yeah, big things coming out of BlizzCon. Let's turn things over here to I think that was it. Yeah. I've been I had a big project going on here. This is what we'll call my excuse section. But how do I view my site as anyways? So we have I had a bunch of stuff happening with work. Just craziest 2 months basically my career as a freelancer. Doing tons of videos, lots of game trailers, which was really fun. I did I think between 15 and 25, I can't remember, around 20 trailers for a bunch of different Microprose games, which my friend Steven, and I guess client Steven, was putting on to Steam, which was great. I really like doing those things, and a lot of the time you get to revisit. I got to revisit a lot of the games that I played as a kid, things like Pirates, Sid Meier's Colonization, what else? Aces Over the Pacific, stuff like that. I played a bunch of kind of not so great games, things like Nam isn't a good game, but you play through it and you're just like, holy crap, this is a full Duke Nukem 3D conversion, and this actually happened. It's nuts to just take that walk back in time. So that was keeping me busy, all while everybody was contributing to Halloween Horror, and I was just so impressed with the stuff coming out from people for Halloween Horror. Had an amazing run. I'm not done. I have about, I think, 7 or 8 games left to post for Halloween Horror, even though we're well into November. But let's go through a couple here. Obviously, Harvester. Can talk about Harvester every show, but Sunny and Jam aren't here to make fun of me. Vanish, which was an interesting free-to-play game. That was done. That review was done by my buddy Nick. Darkwood, another interesting top-down story-based horror game, which I haven't seen since Larva Mortis. What else? Nether, sort of online multiplayer DayZ-ish kind of game. Nick from Co-Optimus did Black Mesa, which is the source engine conversion of Half-Life 1. Daylight, which is one of the scariest games out there right now, sort of a puzzle game that was done by my friend True Triage. My buddy Miguel did Lifeless Planet, which is kind of a different type of horror, more of a I'm alone, there might be something out there, but crash landed on an alien planet and you kind of wander into the nothingness. Or do you? The Fall, Dr. Gumar did that. Metro Last Light was done by my buddy Drew. And Gods Will Be Watching, done by Dr. Gumar. Gods Will Be Watching. I am super stoked to play that. Other stuff on the docket. I know I've got Among the Sleep to do. I wanted to get Nosgoth in there, which is kind of a funny horror game. It's an arena multiplayer, sort of Left 4 Dead-esque asymmetrical shooter. But shooter where the vampires don't really shoot, they just attack. But vampires play like the zombies in Left 4 Dead, and the humans play like the survivors. What was the other big one that I had? Can't remember. Crap. It was, Evil Within will also be reviewed. And then other than that, a couple loose ends. Among the Sleep. That was a big one. Did I already say that? Yeah. Among the Sleep and Evil Within are the biggest ones that I'll do. And then a couple odds and ends here that will trickle in. Other than that, we got a long overdue Shadow of Mordor breakdown. can still see my notes back there. As well as I might do a breakdown of Binding of Isaac, because Rebirth, because that game is awesome. What else? Sunset Overdrive needs a breakdown. So a couple breakdowns that I actually will have time to do, because I am sort of taking this week, not off, but taking this week to just chill and play some games. We're going to look at, again, I didn't play the last Dark Souls 2 DLC. I didn't play Ryse Son of Rome PC. Been playing a bit of Payday. I want to play more of that because, as I mentioned, quite a while. I forget what show it was on, but they have changed Payday. I think it was a co-op cast last week, but they have changed a ton of Payday balance. It is the best supported game of 2014, and Destiny, Bungie could learn from a thing or two from that, which, they're putting out Payday. I know it's harder to update on consoles, but Overkill is just nailing the not customer service, but just supporting their game with updates, content packs, collaborations, and they're not afraid to do that. And they're an example of sort of this mid-tier developer that is willing to take risks, but their final product is just, it's up here. It's as good or better than a lot of AAA games. So Payday 2, I'll say the same thing that I said on the co-op cast. If you haven't played it for a while, go back to it and bring friends, because it's super important to play with people. The AI is terrible, and that's probably my only complaint for the game now. I had some complaints about progression and unlocking stuff, but they fixed that, and now my only complaint is the AI. You can't play that game solo, unfortunately, unless you're doing stealth missions. Which, now that I talked about the co-op cast, it reminded me of a big game that I totally missed, which I forgot to put in the show notes, but we'll kind of close the show out on Evolve. I played the Evolve Alpha, they're calling it, which was over the last weekend. And this is from Turtle Rock. Turtle Rock are the people who made Left 4 Dead. So multiplayer, asymmetric multiplayer. This one is you're hunting a monster, and the monster is not an AI character, it is an actual person. So 5 people go into a round, 1 is randomly chosen as the monster, the other 4 play as the hunters. They're all class-based. There is an assault, deals damage, has mines, has a lightning cannon, or like a Tesla cannon. He is your damage dealer and your tank. There is a trapper, which is like your CC character, crowd control character. It's got a big Thunderdome, like this. You throw out this little kind of grenade type thing. It shoots up and creates this dome that traps the creature, the monster, inside, which is huge because the monster can run or fly faster than the hunter. So you need to sort of control it. The trapper also has these really cool harpoon traps that you can shoot out, and if the monster passes by them, locks into them and just like grabs onto them, and they get slowed down. The other cool thing about the trapper is that it has a dog. That being said, the dog is like this weird lizard thing called Izzy. Anyways, it will sniff out the monster's foot tracks or footsteps, and that's how you sort of get a scent and an initial bead on finding the monster. And if you follow your tracking companion, your dog, there for a while, you get different points and bonuses and that sort of thing, but I'll get into that in a second. So assault, trapper, you have your medic, which is your healer, obviously, as well as has a tranquilizer dart, which will, if you hit that, the monster will be highlighted on your screen and you can sort of follow it and track it. So it's another form of tracking. And it also, when you shoot it with the sniper rifle that the medic has, you shoot the monster, it will highlight these weak spots for your other people in your party. So they'll do massive damage. So you're basically like a support class where you're like boom, 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 and it's got like 3 big weak spots that will, when you hit those and destroy those, does massive damage to the monster. And finally, the last one is the support class, which is different from the medic class. in that it can make you invulnerable from damage with its little like laser beam. Kind of like when you uber charge, when you have an uber charge in Team Fortress 2 as the medic, anybody that you shoot with your heal beam is invulnerable. That's what the support does. It also is an interesting hybrid class because it also has the biggest damage dealing skill in the game, which is a orbital bombardment. So you call it down and it takes a couple seconds, so you really have to plan it out with your party, because if you just call it down randomly, the monster will move out of the way and it just drops and misses it. It also blasts back your party, so you don't want to catch your party into it. So yeah, if you get like the monster trapped or tranquilized, or the best thing is a couple harpoon traps so it can't really move until it destroys those. And then you do your orbital bombardment, it just does massive damage. But it's an interesting juxtaposition with a support character with the uber charge beam, and then it has the biggest damage dealing class. But as I've described those, you would kind of get a picture of, I would hope that you would get a picture of, this ragtag party of hunters. But the biggest thing is that it relies so heavily on teamwork. If you don't have a team communicating, you're not going to catch a monster. You might by chance, but one person can't beat the monster. You need to work together, which I think is a game mechanic that we see in multiplayer shooters and team-based shooters and stuff like that. But like, this is it distilled down, because if you lose one, every single character is a linchpin. So if you lose your trapper, you're going to have a hard time catching that thing and tracking it down. If you lose your medic, you're gonna have a hard time like surviving in fights. If you lose your assault guy, it's gonna take forever to kill the monster. And if you lose your support, like again, that's another huge facet. You're gonna lose a lot of damage, but also your survivability. So keeping everyone alive is really important. On the flip side, we have the monster, which I think is so interesting, because why wouldn't you let people play as the boss? Like, these are essentially a giant boss battle, sort of cat and mouse style of thing. But let's just head over to Evolve here. Evolve game, and I'll show you some of the monsters. The first one you see here is the Kraken, which is a Cthulhu-esque type of monster. But let's those are the trapper or the hunters there. Here's the monster. There's the Goliath. So you start out as the Goliath. You have to level up and progress by hitting certain objectives, and then you will unlock the next monster, the Kraken. They haven't revealed the third monster yet, which is what the game will ship with. And obviously, this is a beautiful thing, because the platform that Turtle Rock has created for Evolve is they can just keep adding DLC monsters, which is amazing. Like, you come out with a monster every 6 months, maybe even 4 months. Guaranteed people are going to keep playing your game, because the Goliath plays very different than the Kraken. The Kraken is like, it flies up, it has like area of effect and ranged attacks, and you don't want to group up for it. The biggest thing is that it can fly, so you need to keep this thing on the ground with harpoons and the bubble shields and that sort of thing. Whereas the Goliath is this like fast, hulking, like giant gorilla made of stone, and it's got fire, but like it gets in your face. It's like a rushdown character. Just gets in there and just tears at you and throws rocks, more like the tank from Left 4 Dead. Whereas this Kraken is going to be like shooting orbs and like staying a little bit away from you, using its air ability or its flying ability to like stay out of the fight and try and hit you from afar. So it's I look forward to seeing where they take these characters. So the other cool thing, you can 3D print these monsters here, which is really cool. But yeah, the abilities for the Goliath: Fire Breath, Leap Smash, Rock Throw, and Charge. And then the Kraken has, I know it's got like an energy wave. I haven't played as a Kraken because I didn't level up that far. Lightning Strike, Banshee Mines, Aftershock, and Vortex. So lots of CC and sort of area of effect stuff. But I I think Evolve is doing something different, and the alpha that they put out was a bit janky. It was an alpha. People complained, obviously, but I mean, they got to test the hell out of this game because it really has to hit hard coming out of the gates. I want to talk a little bit about the progression system, because for each of the hunters, as well as the monsters, you have to do different things like kill a certain amount of I'll talk about the map, sort of a gameplay thing before I go into the progression, and then that'll be it for the show. Anyways, you drop in, the monster spawns in first. It has a head start in this map. It's not an infinite map, it's an arena map it is quite large. It's mostly like terrarium, sort of jungle based, with some, technology spliced in here. There'll be like buildings and stuff here and there, like some form of civilization. But the monster spawns in and starts to hide, because the monster has 3 levels, and that's the whole thing. It evolves as it goes, and it needs to evolve by eating smaller creatures scattered throughout the level. At level 1, the hunters are more powerful than the monster. At level 2, they're equal. At level 3, the monster is more powerful than the hunters. So it's smart for the hunters to try and track down the monster as fast as possible. But if it gives them the slip, gives the monster a chance to go eat more creatures, kill them and eat them, and then basically be able to level up more. When it is evolving, it goes into this little cocoon thing, and it is vulnerable for that time. So you really want to be able to, find a safe hiding spot to do that. But so anyways, hunters drop in, I don't know, like 15, 20 seconds after the monster spawns, and it goes, and then the hunt is on. So you're kind of tracking, see where the dog is sniffing out, and if the monster is like eating or attacks a creature and it's by like these little birds, it'll give off an alarm. So it's kind of like this weird stealth game at the start. You don't have to go the stealth route, but it's in your best interest as a monster to level up as much as possible before the hunters eventually find you. You can be sneaky. You can like set off some birds on this side and go the opposite way. You just got to be careful. But yeah, like the Goliath, I was playing as a Goliath, and really you can just like leap around and just do these massive charges, and it's both aspects of the game are fun in being the hunter and the monster. It's equally fun. And in that, I think the but like the cat and mouse sequences are really fun, because everyone's on edge. Both the hunters are on edge and the monster. But then you have these big dynamic events with the fights, the inevitable fights, and it's just like chaos, and you're trying to heal, and the monster's trying to get away and fight depending on its level. And I think it's going to be a really cool, fun game to just play with your friends. Get in there, and it's like, who's going to be the monster this round? Awesome. And everyone's in a party, and obviously maybe like kick out the monster person from the party because you don't want to tell them where you're going. But yeah, it's shaping up to be cool. And if I played it at E3, it was really fun. I played it at this alpha here, even better. And they obviously delayed the game for good reasons. They got some kinks to work out in terms of network code and just development time. They need to do this right, because they're putting, 2K is putting a lot of eggs into this basket, and rightfully so. I think it's going to be a really cool game because it is doing something different. It's doing sort of this multiplayer, asymmetrical multiplayer different. So Evolve is pretty damn cool. I think it's coming out February 13th, if I'm not mistaken. Pre-order. When's this coming out? Yeah, sometime in the new year. But Evolve, yeah, I don't know what else to say about it other than I had fun with it. I was playing with a set of 4 dudes. We were just playing Hunter the whole time. Like that, if you don't have a party of 5, it will match you up with people when you do matchmaking. The alpha didn't have like a bot game, but apparently, like when someone dropped, a bot would take over, an AI would take over the character that was missing. I think that happens for the monster as well. So I'll touch upon the progression a little bit. As you do different things, like I was playing mostly as the trapper, so as I followed my dog, it ticked up sort of the experience points for follow your dog, and then what was the other one? Get X amount of harpoon attaches, and then I think the other one was like, it was just basically using your skills, and the other one was like hit the bubble dome, trap the creature in the bubble dome X amount of times. So once you did that, you unlocked the next character, which I was playing as this lady right here, the trapper. I forget her name. Maggie. I was playing as Maggie. But then if you did all of sort of Maggie's skills and progressed all those and hit all the check marks, you unlocked Griffin. And I don't know... they do play differently, because Griffin, it looks like, can... Yeah, here we go, right here. Sound spikes. Yeah, so Griffin has a different... He doesn't have a dog with him, but he has these sound spikes that kind of operate like sonar, which is really neat. So even within the hunters, there's 4 different classes, but within each class here, you have a subclass. So this assault guy, people were playing as Markov, who has, that's what I was saying, the lightning gun, assault rifle, the mines, and then the personal shield. But then the people who had unlocked Hyde had, I didn't see, he had a flamethrower, minigun, toxic grenade, and a shield. So they switch it up a little. Oops, I don't have to keep going back and forth there. I'm just curious to see what the other skills were, because I didn't see this Lazarus guy. Lazarus has a personal cloak, instant revive, silent sniper rifle, and what about this support bucket, this robot? No, I didn't see the robot either. Guided missile launcher, sentry gun. Oh, okay, he's got sentry guns, a UAV. Cool. So the subclasses, even within that, has a lot of variability. So you could make a really interesting party based on what classes that you pick and what sort of skills you use, because 2 people could be like the vanilla hunters, and then 2 people could be like the advanced hunters. But yeah, the progression is great. So really looking forward to that in the new year. But do it right, please. Oh, and they just released the 3rd trapper, so they are working on, just again, in this platform, they can just keep adding classes to it. So 3rd trapper looks like he's straight out of Red Dead, which is awesome. So that was Evolve. I can't believe I missed that on the show notes, but it was literally a flash in the pan during the alpha. Like, I played it for like 3-4 hours one night, and that was it. But that was enough to get me super jazzed on it, even though it was a bit janky. But again, that's what an alpha is. You work out those kinks. I think we should call it there, because we talked about a bunch. Like I said, Binding of Isaac, go check it out. Xbox One is coming in. That's where I'll play Halo and Call of Duty and Sunset Overdrive. Elite Dangerous, gonna dabble in that soon, hopefully, once I catch up on things. Door Kickers, again, another really, really solid value. And Evolve. Get hyped for Evolve. I think they're gonna do a beta. I think if you pre-order, you get into that beta, which I might do, because that game is sick. And BlizzCon happened, so that's kind of it. This week's gonna be, again, it's a cleanup week for stuff that I missed. Like I was mentioning before, I want to finish Shadows of Mordor. I want to finish Ryse, Son of Rome on PC. Get some more Door Kickers time in, and then also the Dark Souls 2 final DLC. I'll be streaming that for sure. Not too sure. I'm not certain what character I'm going to take into that, but I think it might be Duquesne of House Duquesne. So I think that's going to wrap the show. Thank you again, everyone, so much for watching. I really appreciate everyone's support. If you haven't checked out the Halloween horror reviews, dude, get on it, because there's something else. There's some really interesting things that people did there, and there'll be a couple more, even though it's not Halloween. Just bear with me. I got a little behind on the reviews, but there's going to be a couple more Halloween horror reviews coming out, and those breakdowns we talked about. So, my name's Locke. Thank you again so much for watching, like I said, and you know what? Go out there, have some fun, treat each other with respect, play some games, have fun.